Since I retired, I've had the opportunity to do some things that I've not been able to do when I was still a pastor. And one of those is to do ministry at CCNO, Correction Center of Northwest Ohio. It's kind of a combination of county jails for 5, 6 counties, the city of Toledo. There's even some prisoners who are in the federal system who go there. In order to be a chaplain there, they had to run an FBI check on me, complete with fingerprints. I passed. Then I had to go through training, and I had to get the badge that said I could legitimately go in. Usually Thursday nights are the Catholic service night. Now, I don't go every week because a lot of times there's a team of people that goes, they have a prayer service, but I will go at times to have Mass. And the way it works is something like this. I drive over to CCNO, which is on the other side of Napoleon, over by Stryker. And when we gather, we all check in. We go through a metal detector, something like at an airport. And then we're at this big steel door. Call it a door, call it a gate. I'm using those words interchangeably today. We get there, and then the person in the control booth that we cannot see, but there's cameras on us, he sees that we're waiting, and so he opens the door. It's electrically controlled. So there's a buzz and a click, which means it's open. We go through, and then once we're through, it clangs behind us. A buzz, a click, a clang. That just gets us into this little containment area. And there's another door, but that one won't open till the other one's locked. And so we wait, and pretty soon there's a buzz, a click. We go through that door, and it clangs behind us. And that clang, by the way, gets worse and worse. It's pretty harsh. It echoes through the area. Then we're out in the hallway, and guess what? There's another door. A buzz, a click, and then a clang. And another one after that. Okay, we get to the room, we celebrate Mass as the inmates come in, we celebrate Mass, and after they leave, another group comes in from a different section, we celebrate Mass, spend time with them, and when the evening is finished, we do everything in reverse. And again, there's a buzz, a click, and a clang. And finally, we get out to the foyer of the prison, we sign out, and then I look for the door that goes outside. And that one I'm allowed to open myself. And I go outside, and no matter what time of the year it is, I inhale the fresh air, the air of freedom. It's so good to go through a door and find freedom on the other side. Doors are a big part of our life. I'm not even going to ask you how many doorways you've gone through already today, but I'm willing to bet quite a few, probably more than you even think. It's a human invention. Whether you call them doors or gates, it's a human invention. You know, somewhere millennia ago, they learned how to build walls, and maybe they had open spaces. But then they decided they needed to have something that could open or close. And then they decided they needed to find a way to lock those gates to keep people from opening them up. Gates are there to protect us from what's inside or protect what's inside from what's outside, both people and things. And so we have the gospel reading today. It's a Good Shepherd Sunday, and Jesus says he's a shepherd. We know that. We have images of Jesus with the sheep on his shoulder. But this particular reading today, have you noticed? This is the first part of chapter 10 of John's Gospel. And he says, I'm the gate. I am the gate. I am the one that opens and closes. I'm the one who protects the sheep, but I'm also the one who opens the gate and they follow me out to pasture. I'm the one you can count on. The gate becomes, I don't know where else in the Gospels where Jesus compares himself to an inanimate object. He might say, that he's the shepherd. He might be considered a great fisherman. He might be many other things. But here he's an object, a gate. The gate or the door is an incredibly important image. Just last year, 2025, we celebrated the Holy Year, the year of hope. And the primary symbol of the Holy Year is the Holy Year door. And to begin the year, Pope Francis opened the special door at the 4 big basilicas in Rome. People ask me, what's behind the door? Is there a special room? And the answer is no. You just go into the church. It's just a different door. It's the door itself that counts. The door represents Jesus. We're going through Jesus. He's the entranceway. But Pope Francis chose to open an additional door back in 2025. And that was the door at the Rebibbia prison in Rome. And it's a rather infamous prison. It's rather large, and it has very serious criminals there. But he went there to open a Holy Year door for them. Obviously, it was a ceremonial door. He wasn't opening the gate and letting all the prisoners out. But he went in and he said, I want them to open their hearts to the Lord. I want people to see that there's hope for them. I want people to see an open door of possibility. And if you stop to think about it, that's what Easter is all about. It's possibility. Because Jesus died and rose to new life and shares that new life with us so that we can live differently. We can become more fully alive. That's what we're talking about. The possibility. So it just happened that I was at CCNO, at the local jail, when this was going on. So I said to the inmates at one of the masses, I said, how would you feel? You know, the Pope is opening this door at Rebibbia prison. How would you feel if somebody just walked in here and said, I'm going to open all the doors and give you freedom? And I could remember one of the guys right away said, well, I've been trying to tell everybody I'm innocent. But most of the guys sat there in complete stunned silence. And I realized they could not fathom that somebody would just release them. They thought it was a trick or something. I found that sad. And maybe we are just as cynical, that we somehow don't believe that people can release us from the imprisonment of our own heart. That somebody can open the gate and say, I want you to live differently. You know, I think most of us here, I'm just going to say, most of us are good people and we try hard. We're not perfect, but we try pretty hard. But we get caught up in the same old, same old, same old. And sometimes we feel that life is just going through the motions. Wouldn't it be great if we could reinvigorate ourselves? I was telling somebody the other day, I said, I bet your life is like this. You work hard all day, you're busy, you're running the kids to and from school and after school activities, making sure there's food on the table, and then finally you get to bed, you put your head down on the pillow, and the next thing you know, the alarm's going off, and you have another day of doing the very same thing, which is probably pretty true for lots of people. Wouldn't it be great if we could start all over? Start again. Not saying these things are bad, but maybe we can do it with a different attitude or a different approach, a new excitement and enthusiasm. We are liberated. Jesus is the gate, opening up for us. No buzz, click, clang, but just plain fresh air and freedom. Most Sundays, since I've been retired, I help at different parishes. Seems like there's always somebody calling for help. There's a pastor who's sick or out of town or on retreat. And when I get to the church, because the pastor is usually not there, somebody else is expected to open up the church. And it's happened a number of times that I've arrived at the church and the church door is locked. I'm standing on the outside. If it's nice weather, I don't mind. Sometimes I've even taken a little walk around the block. Sometimes if it's bad, I sit in my car. But then I go up to the door and I try it, it's still locked. And then when the person finally comes to unlock it, As frustrated as I had been, how, I won't say angry, but concerned I had been that nobody's here to greet me, once they come and unlock the door, all of that dissolves. It really does. And I say thank you when they let the door open for me. And I mean it. It's very profound. Thank you. Because once the door is opened, then good things can begin. That's the story for us. Once the gate is open, good things can begin for all of us in our hearts, thanks to the Good Shepherd.